Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a beautiful painting of a farm. I kind of got a plan to do a barn and maybe some bales of hay and a fence and a bunch of trees, so it should be a full painting today. All right, we better get started. We'll start off today with our 2-inch brush, and I've also got a little bit of clear gel and white up on the canvas, just like normal. Just got Prussian blue and white. Pretty straightforward sky. I'm not going to do a whole lot to it. We'll have a lot of little trees and stuff. Trees and stuff. Mostly just tree leaves. I don't know. Just a bunch of tree leaves up here kind of showing through. And we'll see the sky underneath. All right, that looks good. Not bad. I really, I think we can work with this. Now I'm just finishing up here with a little light gray. Kind of putting in some distant trees. That looks good, but I've got some darker gray mixed up already ready to go here. And I want to stick this kind of in this area. So if I were to cut the canvas in half, I think this would be just maybe right about at half, maybe just a hair above. There we go. There's a nice purpley cast. So there's some really just black, white, blue, red, and umber. I think the only colors I didn't put in was the yellow, yellow, and green. So there you go. Just adding different colors. You always got to change your colors around, otherwise it looks so flat if you don't change your colors. So it's easy, change your colors. See, always changing, always adding blue or red or just something different. You know, in this case blue or red, but just anything to change it up. Doesn't really matter. All right, so I'm just placing the color in here with the side of the 2-inch brush. Let's not get too carried away with that thing. We'll get in here and get some more control and feather out just a few of the tops of the trees with the little filbert brush. Nice. Maybe, yeah, let's bring just a couple out over that distant tree line to push it back some. Next, we're going to take our little filbert brush here and go right against these trees. I've got a soft green color happening here, really just a little yellow and a little bit of yellow and white plus the tree color is all that this took. And what I love about this is it helps to link the painting together with color. There, look at that. Just get a little highlight. This is mostly the underpainting. I think highlight will be in a different step. Let me go ahead and just real quick sketch in a very simple path location. This may or may not be exactly where we want it, but it's going to be close. So if you cut your canvas kind of in half, we're going just to the left of that. Great. Nice, nice, nice. Maybe a little dirt spot right there. We can do that. Kind of indicate that with your sketch so you don't forget. All right, I can live with that. Not half bad. Maybe a little skinnier, but you know, you make them bigger and they get skinnier as you put the grass around. We're going to have a gentle slope to the land, and then right over here, no surprise to you guys, but we're going to have a barn. I always explain the painting, but you've already seen it because you've seen the thumbnail. Somewhere in here, and I obviously need to play around with the sketch more, but somewhere in here we're going to have a barn. Now I'm using the fan brush here to just tap on quite a lot of bright highlight. I want this area nice and bright. I just think it'll look really good. I think it's the fairly dark trees. We'll put a little highlight on those trees, but not much. And you may notice the background looks just a little different. I just got done wiping it off with a shop towel. I've actually got these things back after, what, 3 months? Oh, they're so much better. No more paper towel lint in my paintings. I just wiped the whole background off. And in fact, while we're wiping here, I can go ahead and wipe the grass. That's going to be something we're going to need to do sooner or later. Just the underpainting. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm excited to have those back. I'm surprised nobody sent me some, actually. There, that looks pretty good. Nice. So that's looking decent. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the paint out of my fan brush just to where it's empty. And I'm going to soften the back of the little trees. Perfect. That looks good. And you see, we do all of this before we get too much going on in the barn. Otherwise, we'll mess the little barn up. There's a lot to do today. This is a jam-packed painting. Crazy. I hope we don't have to put too much Time in the barn? I don't think we will. Famous last words. There. I'm just going to continue kind of playing around with the shape here. Try to get some of these roof panels in. This is an extremely worn down barn, so that's actually great for us. There'll be a lot of rust and a lot of missing areas. And it makes it easy, makes it fun, and it should speed at least the barn up a little, and it'll give us time to work on stuff like hay bales, which I've never painted before. It should be interesting. Now I'm just dropping in a tree here very quickly, just a little brown and black, that's all it is. And I don't want too many limbs to where it just gets crazy. I want to put more of those in with the liner brush. They actually probably work out a little better. The 3/4 brush is better for trunks and stuff, but not so great for the thin limbs. I like to do this with the liner brush for the detail round. But anyway, kind of, it's not the point. Anyway, the point is I am getting these trees in, I would say out of order, definitely out of order. And that's great. That helps me decide where I want my little hay bales. And I'm more comfortable painting a tree than a hay bale. So I can put my hay bales over the trees and just, that quick come back and patch up my trees. So I'm not worried about it at all. Way more important to me to figure out where my trees are going so I don't have to paint any extra hay bales. And also so that I can kind of be smart about where I place them, hopefully. Hopefully make a choice, make a determination using the placement of the trees, kind of figure out where my little negative space pockets are, all that fancy stuff. Anyway, the point here is I should probably stop with the trees. That's the point. Let's jump over here to the fence. Oh boy, we're not even halfway done yet, hardly. Next, I've kind of mixed up a light yellow color, a lot of gold in it, which is going to be decent. I think it's going to make the background look kind of shiny, I hope. There. Kind of giving the fan brush a lot of use today, aren't we? And that's fun. But I'm just going to take this and sort of bring it around. You'll notice I ended up mushing my path in a little. I don't know if I need to move it over to the right or just leave it mushed. It kind of looks good that way. We'll see. We'll see. All right, that's looking pretty decent. We may need to stop and wipe the canvas. Kind of hard to say. Or maybe just accent highlight with the little round brush even. But for now, this is a decent start, I think. Just get some highlight. Now I did wipe this area down with the paper towel, or the shop towel. I've got my shop towels, I'm excited. And it's really helping this paint go right on, so easy. So definitely if you're struggling to highlight during any of this painting process, you can just simply wipe off the area and that removes all that slippery oil paint that's causing problems, and then you should be good to go. So I can pretty much do anything that I want down here as far as textures and colors and glopping it on or not. It doesn't matter because there's such a limited amount of paint under here. I'm pretty much safe to do whatever I really want to do. Should be just fine. That looks good. Nice, and that's just kind of a backdrop for our hay bales is all that's going to be. Now I'm just rubbing with just a tiny piece of a shop towel, rubbing the paint away from the highlight side of these little hay bales that I quickly sketched in. See that if you get all of the paint off, all that green, then hopefully we should be able to get a nice brighter highlight. That's the idea anyway. All right, not bad, not bad. I think these are actually going to be pretty easy. I thought they might be hard. I think they're going to be pretty easy. That's cool. How often does that happen? All right, see that? Now, of course, wiping the canvas is really the big trick here. Without that, it would probably just be a muddy green. But that is not half bad right there. Not bad at all. Now, right up in here, this one, we can add just a little. I don't think this one needs to be quite as big. It's not that important. Nice. For some reason, that didn't really have a lot of yellow in it. Of course, you don't want pure yellow, but it is nice to kind of work back and forth until you get it just right. I think it's okay to have like these little ragged edges. I think that's no big deal. Maybe just on the shadow side, get a little warmth. We can obviously play around with these, but that's not bad. It's kind of a good start, I guess. Let's go ahead and just continue. These little ones here probably won't wipe the canvas off on these. I'll probably just see if I can't layer it right over. Not bad. We don't really want as much detail back there anyway. It's just a stroke or two to indicate some rolled up hay bales. I'm just finishing layering on some dark color. I already started with the light color, so I've got light and dark. And if you've hung out here at all, you probably know exactly what's coming next. Clean fan brush. And we'll start right back here. And you tilt your fan brush to where the brush is facing down, the back of the handle is facing the ceiling. And you just go down. It looks like I'm going up and down, but I'm just going down only. And you create this beautiful grassy effect, and then you wipe your brush every so often, and you keep going. If you ever are in a position where you can, demonstrate a painting, if you're like an art teacher or something, or you're just trying to promote your paintings, and you're doing a live demo, this is kind of fun to do. Because you'll have most of the people sort of, you kind of freak them out a little. You can ask me how I know. There, that looks pretty good. And then as you go on, it just sort of gets better and better. I do like to target the light areas first, but honestly down here, I do want this more shadowy. Like that's the plan, is just to have this shadowy down this way. So I'm actually good with kind of a little more mixing than usual. I'll still be wiping my fan brush quite a lot. And of course, your strokes get bigger as you go down. It's super forgiving though, because you think, well, I want to add some color. Here's just some light color. You can just sprinkle it in. See that? And then you can, because you glop it on so thick, and you can just sort of hit it with a fan brush, and you got another little layer. So it's very forgiving, even though it looks like you're out of control. So that makes it even more fun. Now we're gonna add some detail to our barn, finally. It's just sat up here kind of untouched for a while. It's great to get some texture in it finally. So, just using a 3/4 brush. It's a good little tool for the job. I'm popping in my dark black areas, especially where the little different roof panels meet. Of course, this is a metal roof. Nice, that looks pretty good. And I got that kind of ridge cap thing, that little bent over piece. So that's what that shadow's from. I don't think I want any huge holes up here. Maybe just kind of drag that along to give it a bit of a shadow. Now, this is kind of an interesting barn. It's just a weird perspective. It's fun, fun to do something different, but it's, for me, a weird perspective. Anyway, and that comes with challenges, because it's kind of hard to determine how much highlight we actually want to put on this thing. Well, that's what I'm going to work out here in a minute. I'll figure out just how much highlight we want, and we'll do that. Maybe it's missing a piece here. I always like it when old barns are missing a piece. I think it's interesting. It looks like it's used, so, or being used. So maybe we don't want to make it too worn out. But hey, sometimes it's hard to get to your projects. There, that looks pretty good. Just gonna take some more light color. And because this is a gray metal roof, the last thing we want to do is go paint the whole thing gray. We want to have all sorts of beautiful colors in it. Nice. Yeah, just plain gray is probably one of the last things we'll do, and we won't do much of it. Looks pretty good though. Lots of blues and purples, and of course your rusty tones as well. Starting to look more and more weathered. That's kind of what the goal is, to make it look weathered. All right, just continue to play around with this, maybe a little bit of yellow. There's our rusty tone, maybe a little more of that. Nice. And then of course you can swap to your detail round brush and just try to work some of that in. But I like the 3/4 brush because it kind of makes those panels. But anyway, we'll play around with this. Now we do need to work here a little bit on the front before we forget. We'll do that in a minute. I think we want more of a weathered gray barn than we do kind of a brown barn because there's a lot of brown tones in the painting. We don't need any more. That's at least my thought. And that's why I'm picking the colors that I am. You also see that I'm kind of, I don't know, toning this down a little. I brightened it up a little past where I wanted it. Now I'm toning it down just a little. And I'm thinking right here, a door of some kind. I don't know if, I don't know how crazy I want to go. Like, it's such an extreme angle that, you know, I'll need to play with it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's even right. I need to figure it out. But that looks more like what I was aiming for, you know? All right, let me sort of wipe the brush out, grab what little white I have left. I need to squirt some more out and put some more of that weathered gray kind of back in. Put it in, take it out. And eventually you sort of stop somewhere right in the middle. And that's your painting right there. Now we're gonna move over to painting some leaves. Looks pretty straightforward actually. Just a few comma strokes. Not so bad. Of course, I don't know if I ever mentioned it or not, but a little while ago I went ahead and just took a fan brush and tapped a bunch of these little leaves on. And now what we can do is come right out here and pick the details out. See that? You take that color that you initially laid down and just kind of use that as your base to work with so that you don't have to reload this brush every 5 seconds. So it actually will speed up the whole comma stroke process by, I don't know, a lot. Yeah. There, it looks pretty good. So just simply using these little tricks to save time and energy, because then you can put that in different areas of the painting. You know, when you're working at home, people like me would tell you, well, you got unlimited time. Well, I know it's really not the case, is it? Not really. So it's nice to be able to use your time as best you can and get as much impact as possible. Make it look really good that way. All right, so we see just in talking with you, I already added about 1,000 more leaves. We need to highlight these little leaves, don't we? Let's just wipe that brush out. I'm gonna just keep using it. And let's just throw a quick highlight on. Now our light's going across like this, obviously. I mean, pretty easy to tell. So we'll just add in a few on the left-hand side. This tree's in front, but they kind of all mush together visually. So there you go. Not too many. Really kind of less is more. We don't want to detract from the beautiful bright area. And our sky is so pale that we also don't want to lose our contrast with the dark leaves on that light sky. So just a couple of thoughts for you. Now one of the last things we're going to do here is just add on these final details. I just love how, especially that little limb right there, cuts right over the little hay bales. Isn't that great? Push them right back. That's kind of, I don't know, something to do. Something to do. You want to create as many layers as you can. Plus, this is blank, this little area out here, so it really lends itself nicely to being able to see some of these branches. You put these things over busy areas, you don't see them as much, of course. But that's probably enough. You don't want to go so crazy that that's all we see. That would be kind of funny if you look at a painting and all you see are the limbs because you overdid it. So we'll try not to do that. All right, this is looking like we're at least on the right track for these limbs. We'll continue to kind of just drop them in quickly. The other thing I need to do is come right down here and paint in, well, I've got my dark. I'll do it in dark first and I'll go to light color later, but I need to paint in my grasses here in the foreground that will help push the path back. And I did highlight the path and just try to make it a little bigger. It got consumed by the grass a little more than I was planning, so I had to get the weed whacker out. So try to fix that. Oh, you can tell we're at the end of the painting. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.